Going Beyond is a presentation of Beyond Housing, helping entire communities become better places to live with RareGem Productions. Reliance Bank is the proud sponsor of today's Going Beyond program. Let Reliance Bank help you get what you need from your bank. Phone number 314-569-7200 or find Reliance Bank online at reliancebankstl.com. Reliance Bank.
Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
We're going beyond.
Today on Going Beyond.
We shouldn't move to a community to make it good. We should look at where we are and seek to make where we are great. You know, us graduates, we just need to come home. I think we've forgotten those lessons of community ownership. And until we see ourselves as being responsible for one another, as owning one another's problems, I don't think things will change. And I also think that we can throw money at the problem. We can throw teachers at the problem. But what we need is to build the community. And I really think the best way to do that is through socioeconomic diversity. It's not rocket science.
Right. Beyond Housing is going beyond.
That and more ahead today on Going Beyond with Chris Krehmeyer, right after this. Reliance Bank is focused on meeting the banking needs of the entire St. Louis community. That's because Reliance Bank, unlike the big national banks, is locally owned and operated. It's run by people you know, and that's important when you're looking for a personal checking account that's really free, a mortgage, or a loan for your business. So stop in and introduce yourself at one of their 20 branches throughout the St. Louis area. Reliance Bank, making money a little friendlier.
Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
We're going beyond. Welcome to this edition of Going Beyond. I'm your host, Chris Krehmeyer, President and CEO of Beyond Housing. On today's show, we're going to talk from a little different perspective about the Normandy School District issue. On the show, we've had the superintendent, we've had elected officials, we've had students, we've had parents, we've had lots of different folks talking about what's happening in Normandy. But today we're going to talk to a graduate of Normandy High School, someone who used to live in the community, has left, still living in the region, but has really articulated some very powerful thoughts of late about her thinking about her community and the place that she calls home. Welcome to the show today, Miss Pamela Westbrooks Hodge. Pamela, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Chris. I am honored to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. I've heard you speak now several times at couple different community settings about your perspectives about one of the maybe missing ingredients to, moving, the Normandy School District and all the 24 communities that comprise it to move it forward to be successful and healthy. Maybe could you talk a little bit about kind of, what that sentiment is, and we'll dig in a little deeper?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Chris, I think it can be encapsulated in one term, and it's called socioeconomic diversity. We need to build diverse communities, to build a strong community. We need all types of people from every rung of the socioeconomic stratosphere, from doctors and lawyers and teachers to janitors and landscapers. We need everyone to work together to build our strong communities. And when we were together last week, I think I summed it up by simply saying, us graduates, we just need to come home.
Well, what a great sentiment, to come home. So for our listeners, grew up in Pagedale, graduate of Normandy High School.
Class of 1987.
1987. And then you went on to get both an undergraduate degree and then a master's degree. Have done a tremendous number of civic and philanthropic and not-for-profit ventures, as well as working in the private sector at Express Scripts, among others. So again, you've done a lot since you graduated in 1987, but you don't live in the footprint right now, do you?
I don't live in the footprint. I, at the age of 30, found my way out into Florissant. Great community. Actually served as president of my subdivision for a while. But ultimately, my husband and I have been on I would say a spiritual journey over the last 5 years, and we just realized that true community building comes from living around the people who need you the most. I currently serve as president of my graduate chapter of my sorority. We do lots of meaningful, impactful programs that I'm very proud of. But I also recognize that, over time, professionals who commit themselves to various programs sometimes are pulled in directions that are the result of competing priorities. And so I think the best and most sustainable way to serve your community in a way that doesn't create competing priorities is to live around the people who need you the most. I've said before, my entire life is in the middle. My mom lives in Pagedale, as do my brother and sister, many residents that I grew up with. I work at Express Scripts, and which is right around the corner, right, prominently positioned next door to UMSL. I'm a proud graduate of UMSL's professional MBA program. So, and many of my sorority meetings are right in the middle. My life is in that area, and right now the only thing that is not in alignment is my trip out north every night. And so my husband and I are moving to change that, and we are actually targeting a move back as soon as my term as president of my graduate chapter is completed.
Well, that's certainly putting so to speak, your money where your mouth is, right? So yeah, you can
I've put it out there.
You can ask people to come home. If the call is for folks to come home, as the one who coined the phrase, and I'm willing to bet going to be the leader as we move forward. Clearly, having your actions will clearly speak loudly to, as you know, many of your peers who graduated before and after you, who are very successful and professionals and doing wonderful things in this community, but have left. And
we need them.
Yep, need them back. But I think it's fair to say that we understand the basic rationale for leaving on some levels, in terms of depending upon what you thought about the quality of the schools or some of the challenges in some of the surrounding neighborhoods. There is a bit of rationale. But to your point about this community, the place that you guys call home, is never going to change.
But it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the opportunity to be candid. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Did the problem result because we left, or did we leave because the problems were there?
That's a great question.
Yeah, and we've seen this play out over and over. The Ville is probably one of the best examples of a thriving, diverse community, not necessarily diverse racially, but certainly diverse socioeconomically. And when that diversity is gone, then we leave a preponderance of the individuals in that community struggling and in need of our help. And communities can't thrive under those conditions. And so my position is that good is wherever Pamela and Harlan choose to live. So we shouldn't move to a community to make it good. We should look at where we are and seek to make where we are great, and to recognize our connection, our responsibility for those who live around us. I am just as responsible for all of the students in the Normandy School District as their parents are. I think we've forgotten those lessons of community ownership, and until we see ourselves as being responsible for one another, as owning one another's problems, I don't think things will change. And I also think that we can throw money at the problem, we can throw teachers at the problem, but what we need is to build the community, and I really think the best way to do that is through socioeconomic diversity. It's not rocket science. It's
right.
not.
So you've been around the table for many of the conversations about what's happening with the Normandy schools and all the different trials and tribulations that the parents, the students, the employees of the district have gone through over the last several years. Give our listeners some sense of kind of, as a graduate and someone who now clearly has said, I need to be a part of the solution. How has the turns of the last couple of years made you feel as someone who, again, had a proud history of living and graduating from the school system, and now this kind of, sense that, you need to be part of the solution? What's this done for you? And the reason I'm asking is I'm willing to bet that what you're about to articulate, many of your peers who are Normandy graduates who may not be engaged are feeling the same way. I'd love for you to kind of articulate a little bit about kind of the emotions you've gone through the last couple of years.
Emotionally, it's gut-wrenching. When I got the news about, I think it was Tuesday, May 25th, when I got the news about the dissolution of the school district, I was speechless, and it literally broke my heart. I had a sorority commitment, and as president, I needed to be at a graduation for one of our programs, so I couldn't attend the hearing and the bus trip. But my heart is broken over what's become of our communities. As I drove down Lucas and Hunt today, and I looked out across the horizon and down St. Charles Rock Road at the intersection, and I noticed I could see the tree lines. And it occurred to me that many buildings were being destroyed, and those things can be good and it's indicative of progress. But in general, I drive by and I see blighted neighborhoods. I see schools that are closed, and it occurred to me, if there were more people here who could take advantage of those schools, they wouldn't have to close. And this is the thought I had looking at McKinley as I rode down Lucas and Hunt today. So like many of my fellow graduates, we're just heartsick over what has happened. And I can't speak for my graduates or other alumni, but I can speak for me. And again, the revelation for me is I need to be a part of the solution. And the only way you can really be a part of the solution is to be in it and living in the community every day, where kids see you, they can benefit from your journey, they can talk to you, be mentored by you. That doesn't happen remotely. Right.
So the idea of come home is both, there's some come live, come buy a house, come be in this community, but more importantly, that to your point of kind of action, right? Because again, I've heard you speak enough times now where symbolism is fine, and there's a role for symbolism, but to move forward in a positive direction for the children of this community and to bring back the strength and vitality and vigor that it had in years past, it's going to take action. So not only come home, and that's great symbolically, but to your point, get plugged in.
Get plugged in, buy in the area,
great.
Contribute your tax dollars to this school district, and make a difference with your presence, with your mentorship, with your tax dollars, with your resources, with your connections, all of the ways that those are all of the things that are necessary to build a community.
Right. And as you've kind of been on this journey, how easy has it been to find places to get plugged in? I mean, I know some folks worry about, what do I do?
Well, the first thing you need to do is to plug into Beyond Housing, and you will instantly be patched into everything you need to know regarding
that was a shameless plug, but yes, I want to make sure folks knew there was a way to do this that's not complicated.
It's really not complicated. So Beyond Housing is your one-stop shop for instant connectivity to the struggles of the school district, and I'm very grateful for the work that you've done in my home community, Pagedale. I would also like to make a plug for the mayor of Belle Noire, Kevin Buchek, and my husband and I will work with Kevin and other like-minded individuals to find our new home. And we've also already had conversations with Kevin, and we're excited. He's
had conversations with my wife and I as well to try to get us. While we are U City graduates, he's clearly on a mission to get my wife and I to move to the footprint. So who knows what the future may hold. So again, to get connected and to get plugged in, as Pam said, in the most easiest way. If anybody's listening, that is a Normandy alum, a Normandy grad, someone who lived in the footprint but is no longer there, and has been ruminating as Pam and her husband did about purpose and what should we be doing, and this rings a chord for you and resonates with you. Feel free to reach out to Beyond Housing at our website at www.beyondhousing.org, and you can see all the different things that are going on, get you plugged into the 24-1 initiative, find ways that you can give back in all the different ways that Pamela so articulately expressed as all the different ways that you can get plugged in to help your community, the place that I think the phrase that Pam used the other night was, when I think of home, I don't think about Florissant, and that's not a knock on Florissant. I think about Pagedale and where I grew up and where my family still is. So if you have that longing for home, I urge you to find your way as Pam did, to come on home and help us make this community better, to help it the children have the best education possible and have it be what it can and should be for everybody that lives there.
Come home.
Pamela Westbrooks Hodge, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Reliance Bank is pleased to sponsor today's Going Beyond radio show. With 20 locations throughout the St. Louis area, Reliance Bank, your locally owned hometown bank, is making money a little friendlier.
Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
We're going beyond.
Going Beyond is a presentation of Beyond Housing, helping entire communities become better places to live with RareGem Productions. Proudly promoting, presenting, and producing positive programming.
Neighborhood is where you live, and we want to keep it strong and vibrant. This is Chris Krehmeyer with Beyond Housing. We are going beyond.
Chris Krehmeyer, President and CEO of Beyond Housing. Located at 4156 Manchester, phone number 314-533-0600. The only organization in the St. Louis region that offers access to affordable housing. Wherever we work, our goal is to help transform people, families, and communities so that they achieve the skills, strategies, resources, and commitment to succeed for the long term. See our work at beyondhousing.org. Podcast for Going Beyond can be heard, downloaded, and shared by visiting hallelujah1600.com. Listed under the music tab, on demand. Going Beyond is another positive production of RareGem Productions.